And well, welcome back, ladies, to my channel. And I'm still in the middle of my healing process. I have to do this. I have to try to continue to heal the only way that I know how. And as most of you ladies know by now, that is the purpose of me writing my memoir, The Outer Hiroshima, so that I can heal from all of the tragedies that happened to me in my past. And so I am utilizing the little bit amount of bravery that I still have left to share all the tragedies that happened to me. And so far, so good. Your feedback has been excellent, ladies. I really appreciate it, and I'm so grateful for your positive feedback. It gives me the encouragement to continue to share my stories, from my past. And it also encourages me that in a way I'm helping a lot of you ladies deal with your own tragedies from your past as well. So yes, today's story time is exactly what you read in the title. um I dated a gangster, not just any gangster, a gang leader. And that happened back when I was 21 years old. So we're talking about a good 20 plus years ago. I was working for a public supermarket at the time. Again, I was 21. And when I say that age, it's really something, because at least when I was that age, I thought I would be that age like forever. It's kind of like when I was around 10, 11, 12, 13 even. I thought that that's it. That's as, old as I would get. And I would look at being 20 years old as being so old. And then when I turned 20, I looked at, as 30 years old being so old. And then when I turned 30, I looked at 40 years old being so old. And it goes on and on. I don't know, I guess that's the way life works. But yeah, the years went by. It's been 20 plus years since I dated, my gangster boyfriend. And I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna, share that part of my story with you, which is in here in my memoir, The Utter Hiroshima, and it's called The Gangster. And well, the gangster does have a name, and I decided to name him Leroy in my book. That is not his real name. I did not want to share his real name because it's just not necessary. What's necessary is that I share my experiences of, being involved with the gangster lifestyle. And that's what I'm going to, discuss. I mean, thankfully, I didn't go too deep into the gangster lifestyle with Leroy, but I could have if it wasn't for my strong family unit, you know, back, taking care of me and being there for me. And well, Leroy met me when I was working at Publix. And when I was working at Publix at that time period, yeah, I was in the early 2000. It was at the beginning of the millennium, so it was the year 2000. And so the store manager selected me, out of all the cashiers. He decided to select me because of my bubbly personality, I guess, to sit at the head of the store, at the very entrance, in this long table. And we were promoting, it was something new that Public Supermarket was doing at the time, and it was called the holiday booth. And our goal was to get, the customers to sign up, so they can, call in, and they will bake their cakes for, the holiday season. I believe it was the Christmas time season. And also we were doing stuff for Thanksgiving. So yeah, we were doing that. And I was, answering the phones, taking calls, or the customers that will come into the store. And well, it was fun for me. I was having a great time. Remember, if you're reading my book, then you know that I am in the midst of my modeling dreams. I'm in the midst of, my Miss Florida USA pageant. I'm in the midst of trying to become an actress. So me being the center of attention in the store, and me getting to speak through the intercom and hearing, my voice reverberating throughout the entire store of the Public Supermarket, that was a huge deal for me. I was so happy. I felt like a star. So yes, that was a great gig for me. So yes, getting that Publix holiday booth was really special for me. Well, someone else found me to be rather special, and that was Leroy. One day he walked into the store, and well, that's where he met me, at the holiday booth. And I'm going to start the story from there, when Leroy first met me at the holiday booth. Okay? Well, then came the day when I was all alone at the holiday booth, taking care of business. I kept a watchful eye on the customers who came in and out, and tried to get as many as I could to sign up for our holiday booth cake promotions. That day, I dressed in my favorite glittery silver cocktail dress that showed off my legs splendidly. My relaxed dark armpit length hair was freshly out of a roller set and cascaded in soft waves about my shoulders. I wore this paper crown on top of my head that said the year 2000 sprinkled with glitter. The excitement in the air was palpable, with lots of customers in the store shopping and preparing for the Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's feasts. And then along came this husky-built black dude with corn-rolled hair. He slowly approached my table, never once tearing his gaze away as he got closer, even as I offered him one of my holiday flyers. The black dude just stood before my table, staring down at me with this intense look in his eyes. "You are one beautiful woman," he declared, enunciating each word breathlessly. "You know that, right?" I just sat there blushing, and before I knew it, he was giving me his phone number. "Call me now," he demanded, but in a very gentle, very polite tone of voice. And as he walked away, I was left sitting there with this piece of paper in my hand, looking at this dude's phone number, totally flustered, but intrigued at the same time. There was something really bold about this guy, my feminine instincts told me. He was smooth like a groove, and I liked it. I was drawn to bold men, possibly because my dad was so bold himself, and he seemed like such a gentleman. That's why I was floored when I discovered what he really was. You have to understand, I was never the type of girl to go out of my way looking for bad boys. This man came up to me under the guise of a very polite, well-spoken gentleman. So when I found out he was a gangster, as well as the leader and the killer, I couldn't believe it. First of all, I couldn't believe that such a guy would even want to be with a girl like me. Me, this nerdy, introverted young girl who only left her house to go to school or go to work. I would think a guy like him would go for bad girls, girls that understood his lifestyle and were also part of that world. But there I was, about to date a gang leader. Now, with all of that said, I want to point out something. Leroy was never mean to me, never nasty to me, never physically or emotionally abusive to me in any way. As a matter of fact, he even encouraged me with my writing. When I showed him my self-made script for the TV show, What's Happening, the one from the 1970s with Rerun, Dwayne, Roger D, and Mrs. Thomas, he encouraged me and told me, "Why don't you turn this in? Turn something in." So yes, he was a very kind, very caring, very loving, wonderful gentleman, at least to me. Now, the only thing that wasn't so spectacular was his gangster lifestyle. That was the only thing that destroyed our relationship before it could really start to blossom. Now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to read to you a portion of a phone conversation we had that marked the beginning of the end of our relationship. It took about 2 weeks of regular phone conversations and just continuously getting to know each other when Leroy finally dropped the bombshell. "I am one of the original gangsters," he revealed, and went on to explain how he and two more of his homeboys were the founders of his old gang. I will not name the name of his gang, for I refuse to shine a spotlight on something that reeks of so much negativity and violence. He also went on to explain how he's killed many, many people, and told me matter-of-factly, "Just watch the news." "You kill people?" I remember asking him, completely astonished by what I just heard. "Yeah," he replied without skipping a beat. "I've taken care of people." He said this like killing a person was an everyday normal occurrence for him, kind of like taking out the trash. However, he explained how it was just mostly other drug dealers that double-crossed him or were just not doing what they were supposed to do. That saying that blood is thicker than water, that's bullshit. He told me in this serious tone. Money is the ruler of all evil. Money talks. He also revealed how he used to make up to $30,000 a day during the height of his drug selling days. Of course, all of that dirty money came with a price, and he got sent to jail. He served up to 2 years and then went to rehab. Rehab is a waste of time and money, he explained dismissively. Every time I come out of there, I'll get right back into the game. I was hungry for money. And added, I still hustle now and then. I get out there for 2 or 3 hours to get out of a hole. Now and then, 2 or 3 hours. It didn't ring a bell at the time, but it sure does now. If I were able to read between the lines back then, all he was really telling me was that he was still deep into his drug selling ways and was doing that all the time. Leroy would also reveal to me how he hates, despises, and wishes death upon all cops. I discovered this horrifying fact when I playfully asked him, So, you want to be a security guard? No, he replied simply. Why? I asked curiously. If I could, I'll stack up all the security guards, all the cops in one big stadium, and blow the motherfucker up. And added, every time I walk past a cop car, I spit on it. I remained silent, astounded at what I just heard. I had never, in my 21 years of living on earth, had I ever heard another human being speak in such a way, with this almost calm hatred for other human beings, especially for those who were there to protect and to serve. And today, as I think about this more critically, it is quite ironic that I was speaking to the very same type of individual that the cops were there to protect me from. Do you do drive-bys? I continued, my insatiable appetite for his dangerous lifestyle increasing by the second. I knew gangsters did drive-bys from what I've seen in the movies, and although a chill ran up my spine as he told me, yes, another part of me was also very fascinated by it all, for this was no movie. Yeah, I gather up my homeboys and tell them, hey man, we're going to do a drive-by tonight. Let's go. We show up at the place and just shoot them up, he explained. Leroy also told me how he drew up this blueprint to rob a bank and how it wasn't finished yet. Yes, that too. I also remember asking him, do you have any children? Yes, 8, he replied matter-of-factly, and I almost dropped the phone. 8? I exclaimed in disbelief. 8 children, and he was only 23 years old. All of this bombshell information was being dumped on me in the course of a 3-hour-long phone conversation. By this time, I guess he had developed a sense of confidence in me, and he felt he could trust me enough to reveal his true self. Some of Leroy's friends were trying to call him during this 3-hour-long phone conversation, but each time he would tell them he was speaking to me and couldn't speak to them. You still on the phone, dog? Damn, that girl got you pussy whipped. They'll tease, for even they knew that he wasn't a phone guy. And well, needless to say, ladies, my whole family, especially my father, was livid with my relationship with Leroy. Absolutely livid. They couldn't believe that I was with a guy like Leroy. I mean, never in the wildest dreams did they ever imagine that me, this quiet, do your homework as soon as I got home. They just couldn't fathom that me, this shy, that all I do is my schoolwork, all I do is just go to work and then come home. This good girl, will end up with a gangster, a gang leader, the leader of the gang around my block. They couldn't believe it. And in my book, The Other Hiroshima, of course, there's so much more that went on between me and Leroy. We went on 2 dates, and a lot went on in those 2 dates. I kept it raw. I kept it real. I did not sugarcoat anything. Everything that happened exactly the way I wrote it. I mean, the truth of the matter was that I was just at this rebellious stage at age 21. I entered this super rebellious stage out of the blue. I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And nobody, not my family, not my dad, not my mom, not my brother, nobody was going to take my gangster boyfriend away from me. I mean, Leroy was the most exciting thing that was happening to me, in my otherwise boring, sheltered, overprotected life at that moment in time. So, I mean, I was blinded by my infatuation with him. I hadn't fallen in love, but I was so infatuated with his lifestyle because I have never been with a guy like that. I've been with good guys, you can say, and even though they also had their bad side, but I never been with a full blown bad boy. So I was in another world with Leroy, and it was so exciting at that moment in time. But like I told you, I had a very strong family unit. You will read how my dad barged into my bedroom demanding, what am I doing with a guy like that? But it was more explicit than that. Okay, as I keep stressing, I kept it real. I wrote everything exactly as it happened. So it's gonna be as if you're there in my bedroom with me, with my dad, you know. Totally almost losing it, you know. And well, yes, that was 20 years ago. I believe now it's 21 years ago. And with that said, I have no idea if Leroy is alive or dead. And that's just one of the harsh realities of the gangster lifestyle. You don't know when you're going to die. You don't know when you're going to go to jail. I mean, your life is living on the edge. And well, um, thankfully, what saved me was my strong love for my family. If I didn't love my family as much as I loved them, I would have messed up my life. I really totally messed up my life. I wouldn't probably not even be here, to be totally honest. But I'm very, very blessed. I'm very, very blessed at the end of the day that I do have a loving, strong family that truly loves me and have done everything for me. So yes, I am extremely fortunate. And yes, that's another part of my tragic stories of the other Hiroshima. So as you can see, I have gone through it. Shima has lived quite a life, and a whole chunk of it is in this book, my memoir, The Other Hiroshima. Again, my memoir is available on Amazon as well as Barnes& and Noble. Amazon, you can get it instantly as an ebook, or you can get it as a paperback or hardcover. Okay, thank you, ladies, for staying with me. And it's very therapeutic. It's very therapeutic. And I enjoy sharing my stories with you, ladies. And it's a blessing that, you stick with me to listen to my stories as well. And it's not even stories, it's actually real life events that happen and shape me to the human being that I am today. I'm so much stronger today than I was back then. And even though, I break down, but I am only human, so I will break down. But I am so much stronger than I used to be. And I am so thankful that God has given me the strength to put all of my sorrows and my grief in this book and share with the world, and hopefully help heal so many more people out there that need that healing. We all need healing, okay, in some shape or form, because that's the world we live in. It's very challenging living here on planet Earth. But, God is here with us as well. So we'll make it. Bye, ladies. Thank you.